Never Stop Learning, week 242. We're going to take a quick look at the oil paint filter in Adobe Photoshop CC 2015. Alright, so what we're actually seeing is the return of the oil paint filter because we saw it introduced in CS6 and then it went away for a little bit. If you notice right here, I got a document ready to go. On the right, in the layers panel, I have a smart object, so I could apply this as a smart filter. You can find this by going into the filter menu, scroll down to find stylize, and then choose oil paint. When you click on that, it's going to bring up this small window here. Before, it used to bring up this huge window that took over your entire user interface. So maybe that's what they were working on for a bit. Alright, so in this window, we have a small preview of what's going on in our image. Over here you see our document, you see the original image. Back in the window, if you click on this preview, now you'll be able to see the changes as you make them. I like to leave that guide turned on in my workflow, but if your computer's a little bit slow, you might want to turn that off. The reason I like having it on is I could see my entire image right over here, and in this small window I could see more of the detail. Alright, now this window is broken up into a couple different sections. You have the preview over here at the top, then right here you have kind of like the appearance of your brush, and then down at the bottom you have lighting. Alright, let's start with brush. Alright, stylization, I'm going to go with the extreme. Click and drag towards the right, then we get 10. Notice we get these really long strokes going along our image. Now if I bring that back all the way down to the minimum, which is 0.1, now you get more of this rough stucco effect. So you get to choose the style of the brush you're going to go with. Alright, I'm going to increase this just a little bit. Then we're going to go with cleanliness. Alright, so it's just what it sounds like. If I back off on this all the way, we get a little bit more of a rough look. Click and drag towards the right. Increases to 10, it starts to clean things up a little bit for us. Alright, I'll leave this guy back towards the middle. Scale, we're going to be scaling the brush size. Alright, click and drag towards the right. Now we're working with the large brush. Click and drag towards the left. Notice the brush gets smaller. Alright, over here for brush detail, it's going to kind of work with the contrast that you see over here. Alright, I'm going to increase the scale a little bit and then play around with brush detail. I'm going to click and drag towards the right. Go to the maximum, which is 10. Alright, so it's going to leave a little bit more contrast right in here. Now, notice when I back off on this, click and drag towards the left, then you see less contrast in there. Alright, I'm going to introduce a little bit of contrast in there. Alright, now we have lighting. You could actually turn this off. Let's see what that looks like. Alright, so it softens things up there. I'll bring this guy back on. Alright, so now we're able to see the lighting in our textures here. You could also change the angle. So currently I have it going -60. You go in the opposite direction. Think of this as like your emboss effect. Alright, down here we have shine. I'm going to click and drag all the way towards the right. Notice we're starting to see a lot of shine in here, which roughens things up a lot. Alright, so I'll bring that back all the way towards the left so we can see the other extreme. Now notice how soft everything is there. So click and drag, point this around to wherever you need to. Once you get the image dialed in exactly how you want it, come back over here to the top and click OK. Now the great thing about working with smart objects and smart filters is you have this mask right here, so you could determine which portions of your image are actually going to get this smart filter. But you could also double click on this guy over here on the right, and that's going to bring up the blending options for this particular smart filter. Alright, at the top you could change the blending mode. Instead of normal, you could try out multiply. I'll go over here and go with screen. Then try one of the contrast ones, like maybe soft light or overlay. You could even do one of these guys down here at the bottom, like luminosity. Alright, so play around with whichever ones you like, and then once you get the exact effect you're going for, switch over to opacity. Now, opacity kind of softens things up a little bit. Now we're starting to see some of the original image in there. I'll back off on it some more, and then now we have a more subtle effect in there. I actually want this at 100%, and then click OK. Alright, if you want to make some more changes, just double click on oil paint itself, and then you can make changes to how you set up your brush and your lighting. I'll click OK once I'm done with that. Click on this little eyeball so you can see the before and after shots. And there you have it, folks. That's a quick look at the oil paint filter in Adobe Photoshop CC 2015.